and talk about video conferencing app Zoom, which has become popular in this era of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, Zoom has said it will release an improved version of its hugely popular video conferencing app this week. It comes after issues with the company's data security and privacy measures have come under intense scrutiny. The firm says Zoom 5.0 will include upgraded encryption features to help protect data and fend off so-called Zoom bombing. Now, the platform is now being used by hundreds of millions of people for work and leisure as lockdowns are imposed around the world. Well, let's zoom into the conversation with Adam Glyman. He is lead security and risk consultant for Global Solutions, Global Secure Solutions Ghana Limited. Great to have you on the program this afternoon, Adam. So Zoom has become popular all of a sudden. Where has Zoom been over the years?
Zoom was founded in, I think, 2014, and in 2015 they had a Series C $30 million investment. So that's a bit of money to fund a firm, and they've been in the market. They've gained traction over the years because of the ease of use and the free model that they introduced. So 2019 really saw an uptick in the number of people that took to using Zoom as a video conferencing tool. And obviously this year it has exploded.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about what has contributed to the rise of Zoom.
Zoom has a very intuitive and a very simple user interface. It's also very lightweight, meaning you don't really have to install the application on your device before you can use it. You can just use a meeting invitation link and you're in a meeting. I think one of the most popular features of Zoom is the feature where you can actually use it to host webinars. So you're seeing in this period people doing online classroom training with Zoom. That's one feature that their biggest competitor, for example, say Skype, doesn't really have. You are also able to record these sessions to play back, and it's a very useful tool that companies use for marketing and interacting with their clients, especially in an age where you and I know that entrepreneurship is really something that is becoming very, very big out there. So you have all these people leveraging these free facilities, and they love it.
Okay, and we talk about competition, we talk about Skype. Zoom is giving others a run for their money. So how is the competition looking like?
Right now, Zoom has the biggest market share. Actually, from a stock investor point of view, Zoom is actually the cloud app that you'd want to invest in if you have that kind of money. They're doing very well on the stock exchange in terms of the value of their share price. They're really giving everyone else a run for their money. I think a few years ago, Skype was doing about 40 million users a month, okay? Today, Zoom is doing about 300 million users a day. That can tell you how Zoom has really come in taking over the market share.
Okay, and so there are concerns about security that have come up. Tell us about that.
Yes, so you're right. Last year in October, there were 2 vulnerabilities that were discovered for Zoom and for WebEx. So these are vulnerabilities that should have been fixed by now. Zoom didn't really have the best security structure in place, which is typical of a fast-growing company. They have, however, taken ownership and have come up with a 90-day plan to fix these vulnerabilities, and the upgrade to the version 5, like you're saying, is part of that improvement. Unfortunately, in the midst of the crisis, we've seen that hackers were able to get some number of Zoom user accounts and usernames which were out there on the web. You had a case in Massachusetts where a classroom training was interrupted by a prank individual who was able to gain unauthorized access into a classroom and actually expose the home address of the teacher in that session. It's quite serious because the vulnerabilities would have given a remote attacker or somebody the chance to remotely exploit your machine that was running a Zoom app.
Right.
So you have what happened was you had these vulnerabilities on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS platforms. Mac OS already released an update to fix that, and I think for Windows users, it's best to use your password protected meetings and update to the latest versions.
Okay, the next time I speak to you, we'll talk about how we can protect ourselves from some of the security concerns. But what do you envisage to be the future of Zoom after this pandemic?
I think Zoom is going to continue to rise, especially because if you look at other tools like WebEx, which are other video conferencing tools, there's sort of like a paid feature. They're not as flexible in terms of providing free services like Zoom. Skype, we've all had Skype, and most of us have even forgotten our usernames and passwords. Skype has become outdated. It's just sitting there because it's free, but it doesn't have the feature and functionality in terms of that ease of use and recording webinars and such. And because we see that we are transitioning to a remote workforce, especially because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Zoom is definitely poised to gain more market traction.
All right, Adam Glyman, thanks for the insights this afternoon. Appreciate your thoughts.